This is a brand new week on Business Report Africa. First, the headlines. Federal government takes giant steps towards revamping National Theatre. Federal government puts ease of doing business reforms into effect. Philatech set to start work in Côte d'Ivoire. Finance Ministry auctions treasury bills worth 16 billion Egyptian pounds in Egypt. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala faces possible rough road ahead as new World Trade Organization Director General. Details on all this and more after the break. This is Business Report Africa, brought to you by your digital First Pan-African News Network, TOS TV. I am Ruel Panawo. On the 14th of February 2021, the federal government and Central Bank of Nigeria Bankers Committee signed the Memorandum of Understanding and awarded contracts as well for the revamping and restoration of the National Theatre. At what was a very colorful ceremony held at the entrance A, both actions were witnessed by the Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, the Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, the Minister of Sports and Youth Development, Mr. Sunday Dari, CEO of Access Bank, Herbert Wigwe, General Manager of the National Theatre, Professor Sunday Ododo, the Director of Legal Ministry of Information and Culture, Mr. Nana Ibom, and other dignitaries. According to the CBN Governor, the renovation project is expected to span across 15 months until completion. The Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, is optimistic as he reiterated that it will lead to the creation of at least 10,000 jobs. The Lagos Creative and Entertainment Center, LC&EC, which will consist of 4 hubs, films, music, IT and fashion, is set to be created inside the National Theatre as well. The signing is a culmination of a journey that began on July 12, 2020, when the National Theatre was handed over officially to the CBN and Bankers Committee to be revamped and restored. On Wednesday, 10 February 2021, the Federal Executive Committee gave its approval, and the seriousness with which the project is being handled shows that it's safe to say that the National Theatre is finally going to be the #1 event center in Africa upon its completion. The Lekki Concession Company, LCC, appealed to leaders of movements that planned a protest at its destroyed Admiralty Circle toll plaza to give peace a chance. The decision to return the toll gate to the Lekki Concession Company, taken by the Lagos Judicial Panel of Inquiry, generated strong reactions from youth movements all over the country. Yomi Omomo-Wasan, Managing Director of the LCC, explained that the LCC had approached the Judicial Panel of Inquiry to return the toll gate, whose closure had resulted in losses due to the protesters who had chosen to make the facility their protest ground. The LCC approached the Lagos Judicial Panel of Inquiry for permission to repossess the facility with reasons to halt further losses, evaluate the damages, rebuild and proceed with the commencement of reparations given the subsistent financial commitments they have to local and foreign lenders, which include the African Development Bank, AFDB. According to the Managing Director, while the LCC, which had been incorporated to build, operate and maintain the Etiosa-Lekki Toll Road, has been successful in its operations, an inability to return to full operations within the shortest possible time would result in loss of jobs for over 500 direct staff and thousands of others who work under the LCC. At the recently concluded Deloitte Nigeria 2021 Economic Dialogue, the Minister of Finance, Dr. Mrs. Zainab Shamsuna, explained that the federal government is setting processes in place to improve the ease of doing business in Nigeria to foster rapid economic recovery. According to Dr. Mrs. Zainab Shamsuna, micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs, require necessary reforms because they contribute 48% of the national GDP and 96% of businesses, as well as 84% of employment. The Finance Act 2020 provides the required business-friendly environment for the MSMEs to thrive by placing limits on the deductible interest paid by Nigerian companies and loans from foreign lenders, exempting small companies from CIT and VAT, and mitigating double taxation risks, among other things. Basically, all economies in the world are ranked on their ease of doing business from 1 to 190. The World Bank's report on ease of doing business in 2020 ranked Nigeria from 146 to 131. This represents its second highest annual progress of 11.45% in a decade. So a high ease of doing business ranking means the regulatory environment is more conducive to the starting and operation of a local firm. This is important because business in Nigeria has been quite difficult, and implementing reforms that lighten the burdens of entrepreneurs will make economic recovery possible at an even faster rate. Now, in Côte d'Ivoire, according to the World Bank, over 90% of the population in Côte d'Ivoire was connected to the power grid in 2020, when compared with the 34% in 2011, and the fact that the country is now able to export about 10% of its production to West African countries, one can agree that Côte d'Ivoire had made rapid progress in electrification. The World Bank also says that private operators account for about 70% of energy production and all of the distribution as well. By 2030, the share of renewable energies in the production mix is expected to rise to 42%, and based on that, plans are being discussed for the installation of 424 megawatts of solar power, because Côte d'Ivoire's average of 6 hours of sunshine a day sets it as a spot of strong energy potential. The U.S. aid agency had made it known that nearly 2 million Ivorian households are without electricity now, so the plan is for the grid to recover 99% of the population by 2035. Even at that, research from Solar Power Europe shows that the weak grid infrastructure of the country might not be ready to integrate large volumes of variable energy such as solar yet. Madagascar's Filatech, which accounts for about 30% of private energy generation capacity in Madagascar, which I might add does not have a national grid, got the supplies for the Côte d'Ivoire project before the end of the COVID-19 crisis. Yet, the pandemic had increased the cost of new solar projects. Some aggrieved civil society organizations in Malawi have faulted the government for neglecting its role to stop corrupt practices in the mining sector, which has affected the growth prospects of the sector. In 2020, a conversation between a purported Ministry of Mining official and a potential investor who offered a bribe for a renewal of mining license went viral on social media. Kosam Munthale, the Natural Resources Justice Network chairperson, said in an interview last week Thursday that the lack of commitment by the ministry to combat corruption will affect the sector and bring about distrust from its citizens. Sangweni Fury, who is the Ministry of Mining spokesperson, has said it is unfortunate that the ministry is being accused in such a manner, and in addition to its efforts to fight corruption, an investigation has been instituted by the ACB. In the 2017-2018 financial year, the mining sector alone contributed about 0.38 billion Malawian kwacha to the national revenue. And all the way in Egypt, the Ministry of Finance auctioned treasury bills at a total value of 16 billion Egyptian pounds. The ministry, in an online statement released on Sunday, said it sold 91-day treasury bills worth 5 billion Egyptian pounds with an average yield of 12.733%, adding it accepted bids at rates between 12.001% and 12.789%. The ministry added that the 273-day treasury bills worth 11 billion Egyptian pounds were offered with an average yield of 13.178%, noting that its accepted bids at rate between 13.001% and 13.21%. And in Asia, there is a very high chance that if growth at the end of last year is as strong as economic experts estimate, the Japanese economy could emerge from a damaging state of emergency this quarter without being shaken as much as expected. Japan, being the world's third largest economy, has potential to recover swiftly when growth returns finally after this period of renewed emergency guidelines. The resilient state of the Japanese economy has made it a standard of near perfection, as its records show that government spending, Bank of Japan loan support, and a corporate and employee culture that has traditionally put job security ahead of high wages have helped keep unemployment, at just 2.9%. Bankruptcies have fallen as well by at least 20% from a year earlier in recent months. It is safe to think that Japan is avoiding some of the deep falls affecting other countries and limiting their chances of bouncing back when the world stops being at a total standstill. While Nigeria's Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala had made moves that would stay permanently in history in relation to the World Trade Organization as the first African and woman to take the lead as Director General, the financial genius sure has a work cut out for her. As former Nigerian Finance Minister, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala is taking on one of the most difficult jobs during this difficult time of global trade. Amongst other things, she will be faced with a huge burden of setting trading systems in their proper place, even as the US-China tug of trade war in an aggressive pursuit of dominance in key technology sectors have the ability to disrupt the already existing trading systems. Okonjo-Iweala will have to hone in on her financial and diplomatic skills during this time of the coronavirus pandemic, where mistrust among different nation states might be the new normal if care is not taken. The World Trade Organization is expected to hold its first ministerial conference at the end of the year, and significant results are expected by then. Okonjo-Iweala told the World Trade Organization General Council last fall that the world's economies are interconnected, and so a collective response to current and emerging challenges, will always be stronger than individual responses. Thank you for watching Business Report Africa. Do follow us on social media at TOS TV Network on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at TOS TV Network. I am Ruel Penawo. Bye for now.